All right, so today is another beautiful, gorgeous day in sunny Portland, Oregon. It's been 85 during the day and like 50s at night. Perfect for this last day of September 2020. And what are we working on today? A pretty common car. It's a Toyota Prius. You see them all over the place. They're great cars. They get 50 miles per gallon, except for when something goes wrong and they go into limp mode. Or you have a cute dog to pet. Let's stop talking about the cute dog and we'll keep talking about the car. So again, these are Corollas that are on half battery, half engine, and they're fantastic little cars. I remember when they first came out, people poo-pooed them a lot. People still poo-poo them a lot, but they're really great cars. 50 miles per gallon, they're comfortable. They don't require any plug-in. They've got a lot of technology still. Toyota has refined this to the Priuses and the hybrids of today. Little 1.5 liter engine that has, I don't know, 90 horsepower or something like that. And then the hybrid drive, which adds another 30 or 40, something like that. Total combined, like 140 horsepower. They're no slouch, but they're a little like driving a computer. And so just to kind of drive home that point, let's take a look at the dash, and I'm going to show you a weird problem this car has. So when you get into a Prius, you have to have the key fob handy so that it communicates with the car, and you would turn on basically pressing this button on the dash, and then everything will light up on the dash up there. So this car came with a check engine light with an oxygen sensor problem. I already scanned it. You can see this car has been getting 50.9 miles per gallon in the last 14 miles. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty hard for a lot of cars to do that. For people that are interested, we're going to turn this thing off and I'm going to show you what's going on. It has an upstream and a downstream oxygen sensor, and the downstream one is really easy to change. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Okay, so to change an oxygen sensor in a Prius, you're going to think this is crazy. You actually have to pull the carpet back. You would pull the mat on the passenger side, pull the carpet back, and you can see the wire right there. It goes into the floorboard. Right there, that's the connector you want right there to undo. And then it runs through the floorboard down and into the exhaust system. So that's the downstream oxygen sensor. Where's that little clip go? I gotta figure that out. I'll put that back in a minute. The upstream one is much more difficult, and I have to put the car up on a rack, and the wheels have to be straight, and I will explain that in a minute. So we're gonna lift it up, and I'm gonna show you what a devil of a job this is. Okay, so we got our Toyota Prius up in the air. This is a 2005 Toyota Prius. I don't know if I mentioned that. We're changing the oxygen sensors. And the first thing you need is a kit of tools to change oxygen sensors. There's different varieties of tools. They all have slits in them so you can get past the wire without damaging it. There's different types. I would highly recommend getting this tool kit or something like it to change your oxygen sensor if you do it regularly. And on this particular job, you need this special tool. It's a cutoff wrench. It's a cutoff 1 inch. That's SAE standard American 1 inch box end with the claw cutoff. And I'll explain that in a minute. And what we're going to do is we're going to get up underneath this Toyota Prius. And I think I showed you the oxygen sensor from the passenger footwell area. It basically comes through the floorboard right here and goes into the exhaust pipe. This is the downstream oxygen sensor, and it is the easiest one to change. The main catalytic converter is right here. So if we have a downstream oxygen sensor, which we've already changed, the upstream is right there. Oh, you can see that. Oh, you can see my tool on there. The black tool, right? I'll see if I can touch it. Well, I wasn't able to show you. So that is your oxygen sensor right there with the black tool on it, and you have to get this wrench on the end of that tool. It's not easy. Everyone else will tell you to remove the transmission. That's right, to remove the transaxle to get space. But you can sneak it out if you just reach up in there with your tool that you've modified and your special socket for oxygen sensors. It's usually not very tight. You can loosen it up just like, I don't know how you say it, move it a 1/4 inch at a time until it gets to the point where you can undo it with your fingers. And then you need the electrical connection, which is this guy right here. And this is actually the hardest part, is you just have to press on the tab, which the tab is right. There's a tab. Oh, it's on the companion piece to release this. And you can do this job without removing the inverter, the transmission, anything like that, but it's really tight. The tires have to be in the straight ahead position, otherwise this sway bar moves up and you won't be able to get your arm in there. I've got pretty big hands but pretty skinny arms, and I can reach all the way up in there and I can loosen up, let me pull it out, the oxygen sensor. Come on, baby. The cord is all twisted. It's just about ready to come out. There, I got it. And when you get it out, it looks like this. It's considered an air-fuel ratio meter, and sometimes they charge a lot for them. I think they're $500, but it is the primary function for your Prius to get good mileage and to get be really efficient. Hopefully you can see that without being blurry. So that's the tip and trick for the day. It will save you a lot of hassle. The only way you can get this out is through this space right here. You cannot get it out through the top. And it will take some persistence. You have to have a lift. You have to be able to stand up and be comfortable. You have to have the wheel straight ahead, and you have to have a couple of tools. Like this tool set for the oxygen sensor sockets and a cutoff wrench. So there you go. And installation is just the reverse. We get our new oxygen sensor like this, and we screw it in, and we plug in the clip and clear the codes, and we're off and rolling. So I hope I helped somebody out. Don't be too intimidated. It can be done. You do not have to pull the transmission to get your oxygen sensor in your Prius. There you go. Have a happy day, and check in for more videos on tips and tricks on how to make your life easier. This one is a little tough, but you can do it. You can do it. Whoops, I should probably clarify a couple of important technical issues on this Prius and its oxygen sensor job. I mentioned that the tool requires a 1-inch end wrench that I cut off. So the 1-inch end wrench goes on the end of the tool. Typically most oxygen sensors, if they don't have this cover, are 24 millimeter. So depending on your car, you may not have this heat shield or cover on your oxygen sensor or air fuel ratio meter. And the other thing I wanted to say is, if you go to buy the oxygen sensor from a local parts warehouse like your Napa, it's usually around $400. I was able to find one a lot cheaper. I think it's this brand here, this Cax brand, on Amazon for, it was less than 100 or 150, I can't remember, something like that, but quite substantially less in cost. So if you want the Denso or the Bosch, the really good one, expect to pay around $400. The cheaper ones, which may or may not work for you, or may not be as high quality, around 150, 200, about half price. So there you go. I hope that helps. Sorry I had to edit this at the very end with a little tip and trick, but I thought that knowledge is power, and you should be powerful. You can do it. It's not that hard. Persistence is the key.